Deluded England fan. I'm kidding.
There's no games where you're thinking, oh, I can call that one easily. None of the groups you're thinking, oh, I know who's going to get out of that one. Honestly, could not call a single group.
Can we just take some time to give the Welsh the love and the credit they deserve? I mean, they've made history in getting there. It's their first major tournament. There's so many amazing things we can focus on here, and, you know, they're not even in front of the magazines and stuff.
London City Lionesses has got to be one of the best things that's ever happened to the WSL.
I wouldn't be surprised if a big offer has gone in for a current player in the WSL, and I won't be surprised if that doesn't come off. I'll tell you my wild rumour off air.
I said at the beginning of the year, like, you're going to give everything you can to go and be in the Euros, and I can stand here and say that I completely did that in every aspect of last season. And, you know, for me, it wasn't enough. It was sad, you know, obviously having that conversation with Serena, and, you know, she was quite a bit emotional about it as well.
The player I've looked up to from a very young age was Lucy Bronze, actually. Having them teammates and players around you that genuinely push you and make you better in them environments. And the first things over Brighton are lovely. Like, they want you to be successful, and they want to challenge you, and they'll tell you when you need to step up. The group is challenging, but I think if we play our football, I don't see us not getting out of the group stage.
Which sport?
Arsenal, actually. Yeah, so.
Hello, how are you? And welcome back to The Kickback. My name's Shebahn Aherne, flying solo whilst the evil twin sister, Russia, is over in the USA with Ireland camp. Coming up for you on the show today, are Wales getting the love and the attention they deserve after making history in qualifying for the Euros? We're going to speak to talkSPORT's women's football reporter, Gurav, and hear from Wales forward Hannah Kane. Plus, The Kickback sat down with ex-Lioness Fran Kirby after she hung up her international boots ahead of the tournament. And also 17-year-old Grace McEwen joins us to talk about her time playing for Brighton and Portsmouth and her hopes for her future playing career too. Stay tuned for all of that and much, much more on the way in The Kickback. Like, subscribe, get in the comments. We're just talking, Uma, about the countdown well and truly been on for the Women's Euros. You want chocolate featured advent calendar.
It's Switzerland. Maybe chocolate with a bit of cheese thrown in there, some watches. What else is Swiss?
Chocolate and cheese. Money. Yeah. It's going to cost you. You're going to need money to get to the Euros this time. Yeah, chocolate, nice views.
Goats.
Alicia Lehman, goats.
Another goat.
Yeah, this is very, very true. By the way, now the fact that we're moving on to the single figures, Uma.
It's getting a bit real now, isn't it? Major tournament season's here again. We were just saying, we're so excited to get our little chart to cross off all the matches, pop the scores in. Oh, it's going to be great. I think it's going to be the best Euros yet.
Do you know, it has to be, and I think we're still at this stage of women's football and the women's game. Every time it farts, it moves on to the next level, you know, but every time there's a major tournament, it's just, again, a better standard again. More bums on seats, more of an offering. And this has been tipped, as the last World Cup was tipped to be the best Women's World Cup ever, this has been tipped to be the best Euros ever. It's going to be hard to beat from what we had on our doorstep, though, last time around.
For sure, but when you look at some of the groups, I mean, when you look at all of the groups and some of the matches we're getting in the first couple of days alone...
The quality's wild.
It's straight in there. There's no games where you're thinking, oh, I can call that one easily. None of the groups you're thinking, oh, I know who's going to get out of that one. Honestly, could not call a single group.
Are you still thinking, oh, I'm a bit worried about the Lionesses?
No. You know me though, Shebahn.
Deluded England fan. I'm kidding.
I am a deluded everything fan. I wasn't delusional when I said this about Arsenal winning the Champions League, right? Arsenal women. But with the Lionesses, I think everybody got a little bit panicked. I know you're speaking to Fran Kirby later in the show, but when she retired, when Mary Earps left, I think everybody got a little bit ahead of themselves and thought, oh my God, the squad is falling apart. But you're forgetting about the players we've actually got. And when you look at the depth that we have, it's so exciting. And you only have to look at performances. I know they got beaten by Spain in the most recent Nations League match, but that Portugal performance just gave you so much hope. I know it's Portugal, and I know people are saying, oh, wait until we come up against France or the Netherlands. But yeah, wait until we come up against France or the Netherlands, because I think they're going to bring that kind of energy. And honestly, the only team that I think are heading into this tournament with perhaps a better state of of play is Spain, and we always knew that they were going to be the big ones to beat. So I am confident about the Lionesses, and I do think they're going to go all the way.
That group, though, France, Netherlands, England, Wales. Can we just take some time to give the Welsh the love and the credit they deserve, even though my heart is still broken because of Hannah Kane and Rhian Wilkinson in the side for what they did to Ireland in the playoffs. I'm still not over it, and I never will be. I think this story needs to be spoken about more. I mean, they've made history in getting there. It's their first major tournament. You've got Jess Fishlock, who is one of the best players. She is Wales women's football. Finally getting to a major tournament. There's so many amazing things we can focus on here, and they're not even in front of the magazines and stuff. I mean, Tesco forced to apologise after a promotional stand advertising the chance to meet England's women's football team was put up in a store in Cardiff. Come on, guys! Shake in the boot, boss! How have you allowed that to happen?
It's not good. I mean, imagine if that had happened here.
It just
You're
wouldn't.
seeing, I don't know who, I can't even think what the equivalent would be. It'd be like seeing, I suppose, Scotland or Wales advertised here in England. But don't get me wrong, that is absolutely unacceptable and that shouldn't have happened. But I think the thing about this Wales team is actually, in some ways, they'll be looking at that and thinking, that's going to spur us on, because yet again, that's an example of us being underestimated. And I've been reading up about the history of this Wales team, and I'm sure so much of this is going to come out throughout the tournament, because I think they are going to impress people, even if not necessarily with their results. I think with their performances and their resilience, I think they're going to impress people. But they've always been underestimated, this Wales team. They only came under the umbrella of the FAW in 1993. And there's this wonderful story about how a couple of the players approached the Secretary General of the FAW at the time and basically said to him, oh, we'd really like to, come under the umbrella of the FA here. And he said no. And he apparently listed all the reasons why women's football would never be under the umbrella of the FAW. He then went down to a match to watch them play, and apparently his mind was just changed and he became converted, basically. And I think that's what's going to happen at this Euros. They're going to convert so many more people. And the fact that they've done this before, this is their history. They've spent so much of their history as a team changing the minds of people, but only by playing. And I think that's what's going to happen at this tournament. Whether or not they make it past the groups, they're going to change a lot of people's minds.
I don't think they're going to make it easy on anyone. No. They're a decent side, they're organised, they're physical, they've got some technically great players in there, they've got a few goals in them. It's the organisation, I think, of them that I've thoroughly enjoyed. I mean, Leanne Sanderson and I had watched a couple of the Welsh performances together, and I think she used to play with Rhian Wilkinson. And, the job that she had to do was come in and qualify for the Euros, and she's done it. No one else has been able to do that before. Now, again, there's a mindset thing there. There's trying to there was stopping Ireland from getting to their second major tournament for them in order to get to their first. But I don't think any game that they play they will make easy on their opponent, and that's the thing with these teams who you see coming up to major international level. Look at Ireland at the World Cup. I know it's easy for me to say, but they weren't easy to beat. They gave teams a good go. Yes, they didn't get out of the group, but they certainly knackered their opponent.
Well, nobody came out of that tournament thinking, oh, they were just filling a place there at that tournament, were they? I mean, one of the defining moments of that, I think, was Ireland's performances and some of the goals they scored and the defences they put up. Everybody went away thinking, they're really good. I mean, that Katie McCabe corner is still one of my defining memories of that World Cup group stage. What I love, though, is Rhian Wilkinson. I was listening to her speak a couple of days ago and she said, everything is impossible until it isn't. And that's, I think, the mindset that Wales going in. How cool is it that they did their squad announcement from the top of, it's not called Snowdon anymore, it's called Earwoodford, I believe.
You say it, I'm not saying it. I'm going to call it Snowdon.
Yes,
Sorry,
my Welsh is very good. I believe it's Earwoodford.
There you go.
Please correct me, Welsh people, I'm sorry. But that in itself, to have that as your metaphor heading into the tournament, she literally climbed it right before the squad announcement. And that's the mindset she's bringing to her players. We've climbed a mountain to get to this tournament, and now we're actually going to climb a mountain. And look what we're going to do at this tournament. I think are they capable of pulling off a shock? I don't know, because while I think the Lionesses are strong in that group, I think the Netherlands are looking a little bit shaky. France have also had a little bit of unrest with their squad selection, leaving out Wendy Renard, Eugenie Lissomer, Kenza Dali, who's also come out and said, I'm going to tell my story after the Euros because something's gone on here. Are they possibly unsettled to those two teams? Maybe so. And, you know, even the Lionesses, I suppose we have to say, they are beatable on their day. So if Wales can somehow come out, we're due a big shock, aren't we, in one of these tournaments?
The good thing is for Wales is there's no pressure on them. You know, when you look at this group, there's no pressure on them. Therefore, they could absolutely throw up a shock as well. And they have got the quality to do that. I do believe that Wales could throw up a little bit of a shock in the group stage of the competition. I'm not saying they can get out the group, but also I wouldn't rule that out either. And that's what's fascinating about them being in the competition. But also Uma, classic, hormonal, emotional mum over here, watching the kids say goodbye to them as they're getting on the plane to go to their training camp. And I'm just like, here we go again. It's another generation of young boys and girls in Wales to be inspired to go, oh, there's Hannah Kane, you know, there's all of these players, there's Jess Fishlock. I mean, her story is mental. Excuse my language. Fun story for you. I once met Jess Fishlock at the top of a water ride in Dubai.
Oh my gosh.
About that for random mates, yeah. I was like, that's Jess Fishlock.
Did you say hi?
Yeah. So, Jess! And she was at the top and she was like, oh, right, weirdo.
Hello.
Weirdo. She was with somebody who I knew really well. And I was like, oh, there's Jess Fishlock at the top of water ride in Dubai.
She's so cool.
I know. She's got cheekbones for days as well. What about those cheekbones?
I know.
But yeah, I mean, again, she needs this. Like she said, you know, she was never going to retire almost until she got her major tournament. And now she'll captain Wales there. So, you know, they deserve the love. I don't know why they're not getting maybe the support from brands, possibly. I mean, if I'm a brand, I'm signing up to that. I remember when Ireland qualified for the World Cup, looking at the amount of players who got that brand sponsorship and who got more of their name kind of thrust out there. And again, it's unfair because not all of the players can get that. But, you know, in their own stores in Cardiff, for it to be about the England team when Wales are going, I'm like, oh, shocker.
It's not good, but I do think in some ways, when you look at the state that England were in even before Euro 2022, it's not dissimilar to that, because I think we sometimes look back on it with rose-tinted glasses and say, oh, everyone got behind the Lionesses. They didn't really up until perhaps that Norway defeat when it was 8-0, and even then I think it was only when they got through to the semi-finals, when they beat Spain, that the whole country kind of got behind them and thought, wow, we could actually have a football team who's going to win a major tournament here. And I think with Wales, they have to see this as a stepping stone, however well they do here. You know, I wish them all the best and I hope that they can pull off that shocks. And God, if they can get through to the knockout stages, that would be amazing. But whatever they do, they have to make sure that this is the start of qualifying for the next tournament. Just see it like that, I think. And the support will come, but people are fickle. Football fans are fickle, aren't they? And they kind of need to see you do well before they jump on board with it. And it's not the way it should be, really, but that's what history tells us.
Yeah, and social media plays a big part in that as well. I mean, you go back to the last Euros here, Northern Ireland, getting to, you know, the Euros was absolutely incredible. They needed that. It changed the shape of things for women's football in Northern Ireland, and Republic of Ireland then getting to the World Cup. We're still waiting on Scotland to bounce back, no pressure. Troops, no pressure, but everyone's looking at us now, OK? And fair play to Wales. By the way, we caught up with Wales forward Hannah Kane, who broke my heart and scored one of the goals that sent her side through to the Euros.
This is our first major tournament and we've already seen a massive increase in girls' football just in Wales alone. So, and that's before the tournament's even kicked off. It's unreal, and I think we're one of the top couple of nations that have sold the most tickets, and we're probably one of the smallest nations there, if not the smallest. And if little Wales can do that, then it's going to be amazing to see how many other things come from it.
Small but mighty. That's
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So in terms of kind of the rest of the squad, we spoke actually last month, I think May. Spoke about Sophie Ingle, Jess Fishlock and Kayleigh Barton all being out with injuries. They're all in the squad. How important is it to have those players available? Because they're big characters with a lot of experience between them as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of the main feelings when we qualified was finally, like, these guys that have tried for so many years can do that and share that special moment as well, and they haven't missed out on it. Obviously Soph's been touch and go for a while. It's always been quite close, and she's done unbelievable to get back, and obviously I've been in that position myself twice, and it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do, and to be able to do that in time to come back for the Euros just shows the dedication and the type of person that Soph is. She'd do anything for her country, and that shows it. Like I say, to be able to put herself in a position to be selected to be in the squad of 23 is absolutely outstanding, and we're all so proud of her, and we can't wait to get there, and hopefully you guys will see her play some minutes in the Euros, and it'll be an amazing achievement for her, and it's an amazing achievement already just being there. And the same with Jess and Kaylee. Haz is still young but still so experienced. Like, these players have been on the journey for so many years now, and they've really started it for us, and not that it's the end, but it could be the end for a couple of them if they decide that it is, and what a way to go out. Jess as well, she had an injury a couple of camps ago, and that was pretty tight, but again, the same as Kaylee, they're just determined to do the best that they can for themselves and for Wales. I don't think we feel any pressure. I think we have our own standards, and we know what we want to achieve as a group. We're not going there thinking, oh, we're the underdogs, we're not going to win, we're not, like, we don't have that mentality in terms of the outside looking in. Like, everybody can say that we're the underdogs and things like that, but we have our own view of ourselves, and it's quite exciting with that perspective, and we can go into the tournament, we have nothing to lose but everything to gain. It's an experience that I will certainly never ever forget, and everybody else there, and hopefully the nation won't ever forget, and we've got the real opportunity to do something unbelievable, and we have the ability and the capability to do that as well. So yeah, we don't really care what other people say about us. We're just excited to show what we can do.
Absolutely. And I do think it could also like play to your advantage a little bit, that, you know, if other teams are kind of underestimating you, like we saw with Arsenal in the Champions League, no one thought they were going to beat Barcelona, and like, look what they did. And I just think sometimes it can play to your advantage if like your opponent's like, oh, this is going to be a walk in the park, or however they kind of, and then they're hit, and it's like, oh, kind of throws them off.
I think naturally sometimes you don't particularly go into a game thinking, oh, this is going to be easy, it's going to be a walkover, but naturally, like, you'd go into a game thinking we should be winning this. Like, we're however many ranks above the team that we're playing, we should be winning this. This is ours to win. Whereas the other team goes into it thinking we're going to take something from you and show you why we should be ranked the same as you. So it's just different mindsets, but sometimes it's not going into it thinking this is easy. It's just okay, we should be winning this.
So Uma, let's focus now on the news over the weekend that London City Lionesses sacked off our Russia. You're gone. Ooh. In comes Daniëlle van de Donk. Now, I know Rue's okay with this because she sees DVD as a GOAT. I mean, what an incredible signing back to the WSL.
You know, when they announced it, and they at first they posted that picture with the shadow of her, I texted Bo, your producer. I said, I think they've just signed Daniëlle van de Donk.
Oh, you knew the profile side of it?
I looked at it, I thought, oh my
Stalker.
God. I'm an ex-Arsenal fan. I mean, come on. But I honestly think London City Lionesses has got to be one of the best things that's ever happened to the WSL, because if they start making signings like that, I mean, I don't know if that's going to be their statement signing or if they're not done there. I know they were after Ingrid Engen as well, who in the end has gone to Lyon, but they're trying to make that calibre of signing, and it's absolutely remarkable. Daniëlle van de Donk, of course, has won the WSL, won the FA Cup. She's got that experience of playing in this league, because it's not just about experience in general, isn't it? She knows how to win the WSL. Yeah. Michelle Kang has said, we want to come in on day one of the new season and we want to be a mid-table team straight away. That's on day one. So I don't even know what they're going to be capable of by the time we come to the end of this season. But to every other team in the WSL who's maybe been coasting for the last couple of seasons, that's a terrifying prospect when you've got a team who are coming in and saying, we're not going to do what Crystal Palace did, we're not going to do what Bristol City did. We're going to stay in this league, so you better watch your back. And you better start making some signings because ours are really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they've signed and sealed Daniel van de Donk makes me think that they've got a little bit more money to play with.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised if a big offer has gone in for a current player in the WSL, and I won't be surprised if that doesn't come off. You know, if that doesn't happen, I think they will be looking at players overseas. You know, Aslani coming in from overseas, you know, the Swedish captain. I think it's players like that who they'll be focusing on to try and build the team. And also just the future of the manager there as well is another thing, you know, we can discuss. But certainly interesting to be at this stage of the window and to look and sign Daniel van de Donk. I mean, she's a legend. She's an absolute legend. You know, she is one of when the Netherlands won the Euros, for example, when they made it to the World Cup final, one of Serena Wiegman's, I was going to say Serena Williams, Serena Wiegman's star players, you know, in that side as well. So great to see her back in the WSL. I'm sure that will ruffle a few feathers.
Do you know what that makes me think as well when you're discussing kind of looking towards the WSL? When you look at right now, do you think if you compared Manchester City to London City Lionesses, which one do you think is a more attractive prospect to be playing in next season? Because Man City are not in the Champions League. So realistically, playing for those two teams, only because I kind of worry about the direction that Man City are going in terms of their investment. And then on the opposite end of that, you've got London City Lionesses that are kind of
right. I mean,
on the up.
It's fascinating because they've said, haven't they, they want to be challenging for the Champions League next season.
Yeah.
Have they said that? I'm pretty sure there's a quote that that's what they're aiming to do. And I'm like, okay, love it, love the ambition.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Then also look and go, they're able to kind of, Michelle Kang putting her money where her mouth is. She's buying these players.
For sure.
You know, fair play, go and do that. But Uma, I love what Man City have been building. I love it. And it's not happened overnight. But
It's
you
true.
look at some of the players in that squad, I think they were unlucky last season. Rue and I sat here with debating it till we're literally blue in the face.
I remember.
Sky blue in the face. And I think the reason it didn't happen for them because they were unlucky with the injuries. Now, who's to say that these players are going to be, you know, fit and healthy, and God willing they are, next season. But I just look at the pedigree of players they have been recruiting. They're building for the future. They're building something special. Whereas, I'm sorry, with no disrespect to Daniel van de Donk, I don't think she's the future in the WSL.
It's true, it's true. It'll be interesting to see because I felt that Man City just didn't use the winter transfer window very well last season, and it just felt like that was the difference in the end. It was a couple of points, right, between them and Man United. It was that draw on the penultimate day, I think it was, that meant in the end, you know, they don't get this Champions League, and you just think if you'd managed to get a few more defensive reinforcements, a couple of results in mid-season where they conceded goal late on, that's the difference in the end. And I just think defensively they weren't foresighted enough, and I don't know, maybe that was just a mistake on their part, or maybe it wasn't investing enough. I don't know. Either way, they don't have Champions League this season, and seeing how well they did in the competition last season, I think it's such a shame that they don't get to build on that momentum. I mean, they beat Barcelona. It's incredible. Yeah. And this season, they don't even have the chance to play up against that calibre of team, which I think is going to harm them in terms of their development. But
I heard a mad rumour, by the way. Who's the Man City manager? We don't have one yet, do we? Nick Christian.
It is so far, but actually, I've been doing my Euro research, and it is the Denmark manager, Andre Juglerts, who's being linked to Man City. I think they're pretty...
But that's not done?
It's not done, but it's being reported that he is definitely leaving Denmark after the Euros.
Yes.
He's been linked to Man City. Man City want to sign him, it's being reported. So I suppose we'll just have to wait and see if that happens.
I'll tell you my wild rumour off air.
Oh, that's a tease for them.
Yeah, it's a good one. Maybe I've already told you. Have I told you my rumour yet?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe you have. I'm trying to think what you've told me.
It's a cracker. It's an absolute cracker.
Is it that you're going to take over at Man City?
Yes. It's all downhill from here. Let's just quickly talk about the Players Footballer of the Year Association nominations. Players Player of the Year, Erin Cuthbert, Alessia Russo, Mariona Caldente, Yui Hasegawa, Mary Fowler, Valentillis Joyce are the nominations. Who's your player in there? Who are you going to go for?
I think, as a completely unbiased individual, that I'm going to go for Mariona Caldente. No, do you know
No,
what?
it's fair. It's fair.
I saw people getting upset that there was only one Chelsea player nominated in there. And to be fair, maybe, but then I think every player in there has had an absolute rocket of a season. But Mariona Caldente, I don't think Arsenal would have won the Champions League without her. Well, they wouldn't have, because some of the goals that she scored in that competition just turned things around. Yeah. And she's just a statement signing. And she's such a good player. Mariona for Ballon d'Or, please?
Listen, you're right to say that. Why not?
She's great.
She's won the World Cup and she's won the Champions League.
What more can she do?
So, Mariona Caldente for the Ballon d'Or.
Please.
Absolutely, right, put that in there. I'm going to say Erin Cuthbert because
I like that.
There are players who come and there's players who go. And Erin's been a mainstay for Chelsea for all of her time there, you know, under the different managers, everything that she did with Emma Hayes. And I think to win a domestic treble, again, stepping up in big moments, crucial goals when the team needed it, taking them by the scruff of the neck, communicating the way she does, forever maintaining being a professional. I think she is absolutely magic and I think she deserves it. I think she's one of those players who maybe doesn't get the personal accolades, you know, because she's such a huge part of the team. But personally, she did wonderful things this season that I think would earn her definitely the nomination. And I would like to see a player like Erin Cuthbert get that Player of the Year. Again, I don't know if it's the Scottish thing. You know, does that sometimes take away from you? You know, you're not a Lioness, you're not a World Cup winner.
Yeah.
Does that sometimes take away? But I don't think she could have done any more. And Chelsea, for the domestic season, they couldn't have done any more, you know. But I always think Champions League...
It's hard.
A player like, you know, Mariona at Arsenal will also get in with a shout as well. Russo, obviously, and Hasegawa. But I just think in terms of it's between Chelsea and Arsenal for what they've done this season, right?
It's got to
be. Young Player of the Year, just quickly, Aggie Beaver-Jones, Wiki Capitan, Makio Hermano, Grace Clinton, Mary Fowler nominated for the Young Player as well, and Olivia Smith. Oh my God, Olivia Smith, I love. But Grace Clinton,
great list.
Champions League football.
Great list. But it's got to be Aggie Beaver-Jones for me.
Yeah.
And I actually think, you know, I said this a couple of days ago and I got screamed at by many Arsenal fans, but I think Aggie Beaver-Jones, I think she should be starting at the Euros for England. I love Alessia Russo, I do, but Aggie Beaver-Jones, that performance at Wembley against Portugal, she's fearless. She really is. And I think she has this hunger and desire to just get on the ball all the time. And I think that's what England need right now. They're perhaps a little shaky in the fans' eyes. Someone like that who just is at the beginning of what's going to be a remarkable career. Yeah, she definitely deserves Young Player of the Year for me.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will agree with you on that. You can let us know your thoughts on the PFA nominations. Who wins it for Senior Player and for Young Player? Gurav, thank you so much for coming on with us today. Enjoy the countdown to the Euros. You're going to be back with us very, very soon anyway.
I will.
Looking forward to that. Now, after over a decade playing for our country, we had the almost very sad and heartbreaking news that stalwart of English football, Fran Kirby, was retiring from international duty ahead of the Euros. It sent shockwaves, didn't it? The Kickback caught up with her about her decision to step away and to look ahead to the tournament this summer.
Hi, Fran Kirby, the legend that is. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well as well. We're here at So London with Viagogo as well. What have you been up to today?
Yeah, obviously to be honest, it's been learning for me to learn everything around, you know, the ticketing system and the crowd growth and how far it's come in the last few years, and obviously Viagogo really trying to push that and try and push that narrative in terms of how can we keep progressing it in the way it is. Obviously, when I first started and to now, it's a massive change. So hopefully, you know, we can keep building that trajectory up and up and up.
Talking about when you first started, I mean, I remember first watching you back in 2013, I think it was, when I was kind of getting into women's football, and you've been in the game a long time, a lot has changed. How do you kind of look back on, I mean, you know, you're still going, but the career that you've had so far?
Yeah, I'm really proud. I think, you know, when everyone used to ask me while I was obviously playing for the Lionesses, and they would always be like, oh, like, do you ever just take a moment just to reflect and just think, wow, like, okay, like, you've done pretty well? I was like, no, I never have, because you're always on to the next thing, whereas now, obviously, taking that step back, and it's been a few weeks now since obviously making that announcement, it's been a moment of kind of looking back, do you know what, I actually did all right. Like, I played in quite a few tournaments, I scored in every tournament that I went and played in.
I mean, incredible stat.
Yeah, so, when I stand here now and I'm like talking about it, you can feel it. You know that you're proud of it, and you can look back and be like, one time, tell the grandkids, you know what, I actually used to be all right back in the days.
More than all right. I mean, it's been over a decade that you were obviously playing for England, and you've obviously stepped back now. How tough was that decision to make?
Yeah, I mean, it was a decision that I've been thinking about for about a year now, and I was having multiple conversations with people who I was close to in terms of like understanding how they saw me and where they see me, and that was really important for me because I wanted people to be honest, and I was under no naivety to not know where my body was and where my mind was going into these things. And yeah, it was a really tough decision. Obviously, I dedicated the whole year. I said at the beginning of the year, like, you're going to give everything you can to go and be in the Euros, and I can stand here and say that I completely did that in every aspect of last season. And for me it wasn't enough, and that's absolutely okay, because I know what an amazing career I've had. I know everything that I gave in the past year to get there, and I can walk away from my England career with my head held high and be very, very proud. But it was sad, obviously having that conversation with Serena, and she was quite a bit emotional about it as well, because we've worked together for a long time. So yeah, it was a sad moment, but I think afterwards it just became excitement of what's going to come next and what I can go on to do next.
Absolutely, you've got to look to the future, and speaking of the future, I'm so excited to see Shebahn Aherne this summer. We saw her debut, 41 seconds in, she scores an absolute screamer. Obviously, you, Mary and Millie is not available for the tournament, and some people have kind of been saying, we'll miss those experienced players, but I'm so excited to see kind of the change in the guard and the new players coming in. What's Michelle like both on and off the pitch?
She's great. Off the pitch she's quite quiet, but if she needs to speak up, she'll speak up, which I think is good. She wants to learn. She wants to improve, and for me, when I've been in training with her and been, obviously her as a 9 or me as a 10 or whatever, you can talk to her in the game and she'll listen and she'll take it on, which I think is a really important role as a young player coming in, because you need to follow that guidance of players who have been there, the experienced players, and take everything in. And for me, watching Michelle, for me, she's going to be a massive part of England football for the next however many years, whether it's this tournament now or for the future. And I think that's ultimately why Serena's taken her, to give her that experience now. If you want a goal, you can probably put her in. She's so strong, she's so powerful, she can strike a ball, and no goalkeeper is probably going to save it. So for me, she's a really exciting player, and if England need that, she's definitely one that you can bring in and kind of go, right, okay, get stuck in and get yourself in there. So, and she's a great person, she's a great girl, and like I said, she wants to improve and she wants to learn, which is, fundamentally what you want as an older player. You want someone that you can kind of pass on your wisdom to, and someone you go, right, okay, you're ready now, off you go.
And speaking of passing on wisdom, how much wisdom has Mary Earps passed on to Hannah Hampton, and what can we expect to see from her during this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously, Mary has had her journey with the Lionesses, and it hasn't always been roses for her, and I think the way that she kind of transformed the women's game and the women's goalkeeper look was incredible, and obviously everything that she fought for off the pitch and on the pitch, and bringing out her character and her demeanour on the pitch, obviously showed a way that a goalkeeper can be on the pitch. I think you see it a lot in the men's game, but for her to kind of take that role up as well, which I think was really cool to see. And obviously she worked with Hannah for a long time, so Hannah's obviously been learning from her. She's been watching her and achieve amazing things in the Euros and the World Cup, and Hannah is someone who's she's played at top level for a few years now. She's played for Chelsea, one of the best teams in the country. So it's not like she's a young girl coming in who doesn't have experience. She has that experience of playing in Champions League. She has that experience of playing in finals. So, she already has that. So hopefully, she can bring out that confidence into the game. And we all know what a fantastic goalkeeper she is.
And finally, before I let you go, you're one underrated player to watch this summer.
One underrated player? That is a good question, because I think, especially in the England team, I think everyone is rated in the team. I mean, as players,
yeah. Can be England or elsewhere.
Yeah.
Who have you got your eye on?
I mean, I think it's difficult. I don't think there's many underrated players, but if I was to pick one, I I mean, she's not underrated because she's just signed for Lyon, but I would say Julia Brand, who plays for Germany. I think she's a fantastic player, but obviously we don't hear much about her over here in this country. But I felt when we played them at Wembley, she was electric, and probably didn't get, you know, the plaudits she deserved for that game. So, I mean, she's not underrated because she's gone to sign for one of the most successful women's teams, but I would probably say her.
Fran Kirby, thank you so much for speaking to us today, and hope you have a lovely summer ahead as well.
Thank you.
And finally, our next guest has been playing football since the age of 8, starting out in our local grassroots boys team in January 2024. She made her FA Cup debut at age 16 for Brighton before the dual sign with Championship side Portsmouth to gain more playing experience. Grace McEwen joins us here in the studio. How are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. I'm okay, thank you.
You are a statue coming in here, by the way. a big presence, big smile. You've got confidence. I love to see that.
Yeah, I try my best. But yeah, no, I'm all good, thank you.
Good. Thanks for coming in. I mean, tough time at the moment because you're in the midst of your ACL injury. I hate those letters in football.
Yeah, it's
ACL,
awful, but it's fine.
Tell us what happened.
I was playing for Portsmouth. It was just in Jan. We were playing an FA Cup game against Blackburn. It was an important game, a really important game, and just someone put in a late challenge against me, and it just went. It was one of them things. I was lucky because of Brighton and everyone. I was able to make a quick recovery in the sense of get surgery early and everything. So yeah, it just happened in a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's every player who we speak to about it. I mean, nobody can really be positive about it because it's just a long, draining injury.
Yeah.
And you probably spend a lot of your days thinking about that moment?
Yeah, I do. Like, I will sit there and just think back to the night it happened and the way it felt and things like that, which is tough. But, I mean, it's just one of the things. It's part of the game. It's just got recovery now to focus on. How
is the gym experience and, like, building it all back up again? Is that monotonous?
Yeah, it's been long, if I'm honest. It has really been long. It's a slow process, but I'm getting there and getting back to feeling strong. Yeah, just about progress, really.
They say, I mean, I know you're probably not willing to hear my silver linings at the minute, but it's like one of those things that'll make you grow from it, and you can learn a lot from these experiences. Like, have you learned anything else about yourself?
Yeah, I think I've learnt to be patient. I think that's my massive thing. Like, I've just got to go with it. I've got to go with the flow. I've got to be patient. I've got to, you know, like, meet my little goals and focus on the next few weeks instead of thinking about the bigger picture, because that can be quite challenging.
Yeah. Take your time.
Yeah.
I take it around the right people.
Yeah.
Getting the right recovery, getting those right methods. Can I ask you about getting into football? Where did your journey start?
Like we said, that local boys team. It was a weird story, if I'm honest. My mum used to get, like, letters through like the post and that saying, oh, you know, like, drop your kids around for a tenner around at the local football club. And it was the summer holidays, and my mum was like, yeah, sure, have her. And kind of from then, I never went back. Like, I don't know what it was. I just loved it. The boys were great. The team was great. So yeah, that's where I started.
So I take it you never had an issue with playing with the boys?
No.
Always welcome. One of those good stories, you know, it's a part of the journey, isn't it?
Yeah, the boys were brilliant with me. Like, they welcomed me. They didn't think of me as, oh, this girl's trying to play football, like, she's not good, that type of thing. I mean, playing in the league, it was always like, oh, you know, this is the team with a girl on it. Well, yeah, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Do you still, like, have the opportunities to, like, play with the boys anymore? Do you ever see them?
No, I do, actually. I went home, like, a few weeks ago, and they had, like, a whole get-together. And some of the boys hadn't seen them in a very long time, but it was lovely to see them. It was, like, normal again, if I'm honest. But yeah, we had a get together down the club and it was lovely. It was genuinely lovely.
Good. I mean, they must have been buzzing for you. And talk to me about that signing for Brighton as well. Obviously, like you've got this dual
red
situation going with Portsmouth. Is that worked out well for you?
Yeah, I mean, so I joined Brighton 2 years ago now. It's my third season. And it was just more the opportunity, like the facilities were great, the opportunity, how they genuinely do care about the academy and how they want to take young girls like me and make them into professional footballers. They do genuinely care about that. So it's been a great experience. I've been able to make all my debuts, my WSL debut, which was great. And then dual side for Portsmouth, I felt like I needed a challenge. I wanted to play more women's football. I wanted to push myself and being able to play that championship football. And obviously it was difficult for us at the time, you know, like battling relegation and everything, but having that pressure and being supported by the fans, and the girls were great at Portsmouth, and for me being able to challenge myself in things that I wasn't going to be able to do if I just stayed at Brighton, it was great. Would you encourage then more players to do that, you know, to get that opportunity to go out and play, build the experience? I mean, that's the main thing, just building the experience. Be happy as well playing. Exactly. Like, obviously there was a load of different scenarios that happened we were battling relegation and other things that happened, but for me, in training, I fought to make into the team. I was able to make it into the team. I earned my position in that, and being 17 and being able to do that and feeling like I got the opportunity to do that and play week in, week out against some very good players, and the top end teams like your Birminghams and your London Cities and stuff was great. And I would definitely encourage younger people to do that. And tell me, Grace, who do you kind of model your game against? Like, who's the player that you look up to? The player I've looked up to from a very young age was Lucy Bronze, actually. I don't know what it was, her mindset, her willingness and her competitiveness, I don't know. I always compared myself to her in ways, and even growing up, I was never a defender. I played in centre mid, but even then, I still idolised her. The way she plays the game, I think it's just brilliant. She is she's a stunning footballer, isn't she? And then when you look at everything she's achieved as well, do you ever think like that? Do you think about the idea, don't look too far ahead, but going abroad, you know, challenging yourself in other countries? Is that something you consider? Yeah, definitely. I think being a WSL player is great, but being able to get that experience and show yourself elsewhere, just like Lucy Bronze, at Lyon, at Barcelona, etc. And it's just being able to do that and get that different styles of football, because in the women's game they're not all just the same, and being able to challenge myself, I would definitely consider that. Definitely. And talk to us about then what it's like playing in the WSL, like that level kind of thing, playing against certain players. Do you learn a lot in those games? You do learn a lot, yeah. I think it's so much quicker. I was 15 when I entered that environment, and it's just kind of do have to take a step back from it, and you think it is amazing. And having them teammates and players around you that genuinely push you and make you better in them environments. And the first thing guys with Brighton are lovely. They want you to be successful, and they want to challenge you, and they'll tell you when you need to step up and stuff like that, which I think is great. So being in the environment is just brilliant. You've got to learn so much, honestly. I bet. Talk to us about your England experience then. You're playing at under 17 levels. Just now, how's that going for you? What's the plans for the future? Yeah, it's good. I think England's always an honour. Being able to play for your country is the biggest thing for any footballer. That's the highest you can go, really, playing for your country, and to have that honour at such a young age, from the under 15s, 16s level to 17s now, it's brilliant. And the fact that you guys look at then the senior team Yeah.
and see all of their achievements. Like, how close are you guys to that situation? Do you get experiences to go watch them, to train with them? Is there like a bit of integration there?
A little bit. I think there isn't much integration in the sense of like, sometimes our schedules never lined up, especially with the 17s. Like, the international break would be different to our break, but if they were there, like, we could say hello, but they do keep it separate. Obviously, they're professionals, they've got to do what they've got to do. But in the environment, it is spoken about a lot.
Mm-hmm. And how are you feeling about the Euros? Do you think they can win it?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I do hope so. I think their group is challenging, but I think if we play our football, I don't see us not getting out of the group stage.
See, I mean, I think they can get out of the group. There are a number of people like you're speaking to who have genuine doubts about it, and I get it because Netherlands are good, but they're struggling. France are good, but they're still struggling.
Yeah.
And do you know any of the Welsh players? Do you know the youngsters? I mean, who are?
No, none of them are.
I mean, the Wales team going there, I think, could almost throw up a wee bit of a shock as well.
Yeah.
You never know.
I think they will.
They're underdogs, right?
They're underdogs, and when you are an underdog, you get that bit of like, you know, like I want to show you what I can do. So I think they'll bring a challenge to.
Are you still in school?
Yes.
What are you studying in that? Like, what's life like being like a footballer and school?
It is interesting. It's difficult. I mean, I'm doing sport and exercise science at the moment. I actually got the email today to say that I've completed it, which is the best feeling in the world. It is honestly, it is the best feeling in the world. Finished my last bit of coursework before I went on holiday, and then I was coming up here today and I got the email and I said, thank you.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Did you get like a pass mark, or is it like?
I passed.
Yes.
I've completely passed the course. I've got the qualifications, which is nice. It's obviously difficult balancing it, especially because I was on dual side to Portsmouth and it was a full-time club. Like, you're there every day of the week, you're playing at the weekend. So managing that was difficult, but I had support and I knew what I was doing, so it was okay.
I love your inner confidence. Never lose that. That's the thing. Like, you know you can balance it. It's going to be tough, but listen, if it's not hard, then everybody else will be doing it right. It's meant to be tough. So,
it is meant to be tough, definitely.
Tell me about your ambitions for the future with this inner confidence that I'm feeling the vibe, Grace.
I think the first thing at the moment is to recover from the ACL. Like, hit them little milestones. Like, in a few weeks I should be running, which will be a massive achievement for myself. And get back into first team football, get back into Brighton, training with them and pushing for that, and kind of see where it takes me, if I go out on loan or if I stay at the club. Obviously not sure yet, but long term, I want to be a WSL player. Like, that's just the bottom line, really.
Who's your team? Who's your sport?
Arsenal, actually. Yeah, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
Just put it out there. Well, listen, I'll be keeping tabs. Don't you worry about that.
Thank you very much.
Grace, thank you so much for coming in. Well done getting the coursework passed.
I appreciate that.
Happy recovery. Hope it goes well.
Thank you.
Like I say, it's not an easy journey, I can only imagine, but keep going and we're looking forward to seeing what you can do in the future as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Grace McEwen, joining us on the show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, be kind, and we'll see you next week. The Euros are coming, baby!